Morning all, welcome back to the channel. My name's AD and by now you should know this as my garage, and behind me is my driveway. Now it's already one of the hottest days of the year so far. Not the best day to be out in the sun. It's actually only 9 o'clock in the morning, and I've started working on this as of about 7:30. Kept it quiet though, try not to annoy the neighbours too much. So what are we doing? Yeah, I like to mix things up. I like to try things that are slightly different, and as such I'm removing the hybrid turbo from my Clio 4RS in a chase of more power in the future, maybe. And we're actually replacing it with an OEM turbo. Well, it sounds like a backward step, but bear with me. Yeah, so we had the original hybrid turbo on there. Where is it? I've actually just removed it this morning. So this is a Mamba Tech, which is exactly the same as KTEXL, by the way. This is their 21T hybrid, so it's bigger than the one available from KTEC, though pretty much does the same thing, same power, because anyone who tunes these properly will tell you that the high pressure fuel pump is actually out of flow at just shave over 300, 310, is really tapping them out. You won't get more power out of it. There is just no available fuel. Excuse my look, I am wearing a hat. So yeah, we're also going to address that. But right, so let's get back to it. Right, we've removed the T21 hybrid turbo and we're replacing it with this, which is actually a modified Megane 4RS 280 turbo with its twin scroll manifold, so it should giddy up pretty quick. And if you look inside there, I haven't ported it yet, you've actually got a pretty big wheel when compared to the OEM turbo, which I think is that one there in bits. So compressor side is actually slightly smaller than my current hybrid. It's actually equivalent to all the same size as the 19T. Looking at it, quick measuring, but the back housing is a twin scroll and a lot bigger than the tiddly little one that we got there. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to fit the Megane 4RS turbo to this car. Now on the Megane 4RS, which is an 1800 stroked version of the 1600, they tap out at around 310, 320, and that's based on turbo size. What they have got is the capacity for a lot more fuel. So what we've got here is a Megane 4RS high pressure fuel pump. Now I'm pretty sure I'm going to be the first person in the UK to do this. I'm going to keep with the stock injectors. I've taken a little bit of advice from Decca Motorsport, and that should give me a little bit more fuel available on the stock injectors to go over 300 safely. We tapped out at what, 307 at EFI parts dyno, so right for the high pressure fuel pump. So we're going to upgrade the turbo, which may give us less flow, but the high pressure fuel pump, which will give us more fuel flow, or more available fuel. And we'll be able to see that on the dyno. We're booked in on the 26th, I think it is. Due to, it's a cascade of events really. My TCU failed, so I replaced the TCU. My TCU needs flashing to allow for extra torque, because currently it was limited to about 260 brake horsepower. So I've opted to use that mapping opportunity to upgrade everything else at the same time. The only downside is I've had to cancel all my track days that I've had booked until we get this bolted up and proved and working. What I'm actually hoping for is a slightly more responsive turbo that gives me the same flow as I had previously, but we should be able to see that we've got more fuel available, which then allows me to hybridize the 4RS, the Megane 4RS turbo, for more flow if we need it. Now this is not an easy conversion, it's not easy to do. There are a few intricacies that need to be sorted. Mainly the Megane 4RS runs an electronically controlled actuator, and it runs backwards to a conventional actuator. So what I've done is I've chopped the wastegate arm off and flipped it 180 degrees so that I can get it to work in the conventional manner with a push rod actuator. And then we run the saw poorly down at Forge Motorsport, so Forge Paul on Instagram. Here we are down at Forge Motorsport doing some sneaky shenanigans. But this is the Meg 280 RS Turbo. I've flipped the wastegate actuator arm because it was a pull design instead of a push design. And here we have Forge Paul, who's having a quiet look at it. Paul's going to hopefully sort me out with an actuator for it. It's not really done before, but fingers crossed we can get something working. What do you reckon, Paul?
Maybe.
At Forge Motorsport, who made me a custom bracket and actuator to suit my modified Megane 4 RS Turbo. So it's not a direct bolt on, it needs some fiddling to do, and to be honest I'm still not sure it's even going to work, but we've got the basics there that we need to try and hook it up and at least try. So yeah, that's where we're at. I haven't been recording because I've been grafting, but we are about 3 bolts or 3 nuts off having the original manifold off, and once that's out of the way I can get the downpipe out. I've also got a Meg 4 RS downpipe over here ready to go on, which should hopefully, all being well, bolt up to the current exhaust system, and if not, we've got that to overcome. But yeah, a few little issues have arisen that have basically, I wouldn't say forced me, but have given me the opportunity to upgrade the car further. But yeah, I'm going to crack on, carry on whipping it off before the temperature gets to about 33 degrees. And hopefully we'll have it all up and running and idling shortly. Well, shortly for you. Might be a few days for me. I might knock it on the head in a bit. Pick it up again this evening when the temps come back down. Unfortunately, my driveway is in the direct sun there, and it is getting very, very warm already. But yeah, wish me luck. This could be a complete failure. I'll keep you updated either way. We'll get it on the dyno with Chris, see how it reacts, see what fuel it's got. That's a few weeks away for me now, but depending on how I edit this video, might be this video, might be the next video. But yeah, trying something different as always. I'm going to port the compressor housing as well so it matches the inlet port. Exactly the same one I've already got on this, so it'll meet up to my custom intake system. But yeah, cracking on. Catch you in a bit. Right, boom, that's the whole lot out the way. The rest of it is going to be making things fit back in. I think the first issue is actually going to be the downpipe. Though it looks identical in shape, I think the flange mounting holes might be slightly out. But if you look at that, it's exactly the same style. I think the holes on this one are a bit too far apart. What I might actually have to do is drill this so it's slotted, so it then mates up to the front pipe. We've got some work to do on the actuator side here, getting this fully bolted up and lined up correctly, port the housing. But yeah, we're on to a winner, I think. I mean, it's only little things. I say little things, it's a lot of work. Really, I'm going to remove the recirc valve stuff out of the way so I've got a bit of extra space. Looks like I'll also have to swap the drain, oil drain, to the Clio style one, which points out sideways, whereas the Meg one points down. So we'll be able to use the OEM oil lines or oil return. I've actually got the OEM oil feed here that I removed for a braided item when I went hybrid. But I'm actually going to refit that because it fits the Meg Turbo perfectly by the looks of it. So that'll go back in. But yeah, about 2 hours in, sweating my tits off. But let's crack on. So we're nearly ready to bolt up this manifold. We've ported the inlet a little bit to match the adapter. Actuator's fully bolted up and aligned. It looks nice. We've got about half a whole preload on there. Yeah, realistically, next thing we've got to do is fit the OEM oil line back to this car. What I want to do is make sure the downpipe fits next, and once that's done I can lay it in there and fit the manifold over the top, saving having to pull the drive shaft out of the way. So for me, yeah, the next thing I'm going to do is re-drill the bottom joint, as the bolt spacing is slightly different. So what I'm probably going to do is actually just re-drill this one, so it's not got threaded holes, but I've got 2 slots either side. That should then allow me to a little bit of flexibility with it bolting up on the downpipe. We have got to remove the second lambda sensor out of that one and put it on this too. We have got the Chinese gaskets. I keep reusing them. To be fair, I've had to replace it twice, I think, since owning the car, so in 2 years, because everyone uses their own custom bloody flanges, and then they usually warp or go out straight, but because they're their own ones, they just, yeah, they're shit, and no one does an off-the-shelf gasket for it. I may have to look into making some copper ones or something at some point. To be fair, they don't blow that often. Once it's bolted up, it's usually good. Yeah, where we're at. I'm hot, I'm sweaty, it's absolutely sweltering out here. We've got Ross VO on the video on the YouTube at the moment. Yeah, we're ready to start hooking this all back up, I think. But yeah, to be fair, it's not too hard of a job so far. Well, I don't find much too difficult on there. I mean, I am at a great advantage. I've got some great mates who have helped me over the years with all my car stuff, and again with this. So if I haven't already said it, big thanks to Paul at Forge Motorsport. He sorted me out a load of bits for this, and always does. And if you can see under here, this project's kind of stalled at the moment, but should be picked up later on. My tubular manifold for the Renault 8, which is still here, just parked down the road because the Clio's been a pain recently. But yeah, there she is. She's still there. She'll still get used. Once the Clio's wrapped up, which probably my last thing, I've got to go in for a hernia op, a decent sized hernia op as well, to do with my stoma that I've got. So recovery on that's going to be like 6 to 8 weeks before I can even attempt to do anything, and then the wife's going to be pretty pissed off if I'm swinging on spanners and stuff again. So I am going to have to invest in some new toys, some new tools to assist me in carrying on with my hobby of working on cars. So yeah, the Renault 8 turbo swap, which was due to be done by August, is really on the back burner, and probably won't be until September, October time now, unfortunately. But I am still using it. It's like driving a greenhouse in this weather though. But yeah, Clio, we are still working. We're making a mess in here, aluminium shavings everywhere. We have cleaned this out. We took the housing off, ported it, gave it a rinse out, clean out, reassembled it with everything in place. So we should be ready to bolt it all on. But yeah, on to the next job. Gonna take another break, go sit in the shade somewhere, then come back and modify the downpipe, ready to go in. Once that's in, which should be the next bit, I'll drop the turbo and manifold back in place, and we can go from there. Okay, little update where we're at. The turbo is fully modified, bolted up, ready to go. It's upside down there because I'm going to swing it in place. I've modified the downpipe. I actually just sliced out the side so that I've got an adjuster or adjustable slots for where it bolts to the downpipe or the front pipe, and I've slung that in. I've also refitted the OEM turbo feed, more to see whether we can do this with all original parts. I had the braided line on there, it's draining in my bin at the moment because I had the hybrid turbo. So hybrid turbo had its own threaded fitting for the top, and then I had a braided oil feed for that. Sprayed some cleaner through it to make sure that it still passes oil, it's all fine. yeah, so next from me in this still very hot weather is to swing this lump of metal into place and yeah, see how it looks really. It's got a multi-layer steel gasket on the exhaust side. I have ordered a new one, it isn't here. I have no idea when it's getting here. I think it's coming from Germany. I don't want to wait. I can, as much as it's a pain in the ass job, I can replace it again in the future if it blows. So I've just given it a wipe down and I'm going to clamp it in place and keep my fingers crossed that it doesn't blow. But yeah, going well so far. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. Probably about 12 o'clock coming up on that. We got Goodwood on TV whilst we're tinkering in the garage. It is shaded, but it is hot. But yeah, the bulk of the work looks like it's going to be done very shortly. So I might go take a break, another hour. We should have the turbo in place, and yeah, we can look to start piping things up. Alright everybody, it's been a long day. I say a long day, it's actually only about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but for me a long day. Physically we've got everything on, the exhaust's on. I connected everything up by the recirculation valve because I'm unsure where that's going to go. I also need to take some T's off for boost references, and I'm not sure where I'm going to do that from yet, but we are about to give it its first run. So, oh my god, it's so bloody hot in here. I mean, it's reading 38 degrees outside. Right, bear with me. Turbo spinning. There is oil pissing out everywhere, so we've broken something. Not good. Not good at all. Let's have a look. It's probably coming from the oil feed. Right, I mean it ran quietly, there's no blows and the turbo was spinning. Let's get in there and have a look. Could have been just something I've forgotten to tighten up. Let's get in there, have a look, and I'll update you in a sec. Right, second time lucky. Got no leaks. Seems to be oil tight. We've got the coolant hoses linked up. We've got the oil hoses with lines hooked up. Got the OEM Clio line on there. Yeah. That is a Megane 280RS manifold, which is a twin scroll, and the twin scroll turbo mounted on a Clio 4RS. Yeah, we're going to have to do something with regards to picking up the intercooler pipework. So again, it's not a biggie really. I'm going to try and see if I can put a heat shield back on there, but for the moment she's idling, warming out, blowing off all the oils and stuff. So yeah, it's been a bit of a long day. Not much you can see with the filter on. I've got a nice sun filter on. Whoosh. There we go. That's adjusting itself again anyway. Yeah, it's been a long day. It's up and running. Still got a little bit to do, but so far so good. I'll button the rest up and then we'll touch base again. Hello, and yeah, welcome back, I guess. We're out, we're testing. I say we're out, we're testing. The car's started up fine. Yeah, we're just going to give it a little run and see how it goes. AC is flat out. Outside temp is saying 35 on the car. So it's pretty warm and toasty. Let's see if we can get you mounted. Something like that, I guess. I've got a laptop plugged in just in case we have any issues or errors turned up. Let's go. Even the steering wheel's hot. Boosting a little bit. Can't really nail it because effectively we're running on a different turbo to what it was mapped with, though it is mapped for a bigger turbo, so it shouldn't be a million miles off. We should be able to poke it a little bit. I think we're good. Like I say, a little bit of preload to be adjusted on there, and yeah, mapping next. So I might have that as a separate video, so I'll catch you in that one. But as far as this goes, we've got the Megane 280 RS Turbo 1. It seems nice and responsive, even without mapping. So I'm going to, and I've got no warning lights. So I'm going to put some miles on this, testing it for the next 2 weeks before mapping. But yeah, I think we're on to a winner. I think it's a